my dear learners, for this course on Design of Machine Elements 2. In this module 4, we were discussing on design of bubble gear and worm gear. So far, we have solved a numerical problem on complete design of worm gear when center distance is not given or center distance is not known to us. In today's lecture, I will be addressing the complete design of worm gear when center distance is given. Let us solve the problem number 2 of our discussion on worm gear. Design a worm gear drive to transmit 5 kW at 1200 rpm. The speed ratio is to be 25 and the center distance is 250 millimeters. The worm wheel is made from phosphorus bronze whose allowable static strength is 82.4 megapascals, while the worm is made from steel C45 whose allowable static strength is 233.4 megapascals. He has given the load stress factor as 1.25 and also angle alpha is specified as 14.5 degree. Let us solve this problem. If I list out the data given, you can clearly observe he has specified the center distance as 250 millimeters. So the data given for this problem are: power to be transmitted is 5 kilowatts with a speed N1 is 1200 rpm and the speed ratio I is 25 and the center distance, which is denoted by small a, is specified as 250 millimeters. The worm wheel is made from phosphorus bronze, that is the gear sigma 2 is 82.4 megapascals, which is made of phosphorus bronze, and worm, that is pinion, is made of steel C45 with 233.4 megapascals of static strength. We can take it as iron steel. He has specified the load factor for us as 1.25 and alpha is given as 14.5 degrees. So this is the data given. The procedure what we have employed to solve problem when center distance is not specified does not hold good for this problem. This problem requires a different approach to be made to determine the module. Once we determine the module, then rest of the things will remain same. So therefore, in our step 1, as usual, I want to determine the number of teeth or number of threads on worm. That is, step 1 is to find number of threads on worm. Now, to determine number of threads on worm, the first very important point is that we should visit the table 12.8 and check whether for the given speed reduction value, whether he has specified the number of threads clearly or not. If there is an ambiguity, then by using an approximate value, by trial and error method, we should find out the actual number of teeth on worm. There is no problem if the speed reduction is greater than 20. If the speed reduction is greater than 20, always for worm gear, Z1 is equal to 1. Kindly keep this in mind. And also if you refer the table 12.28, page number 244, from table 12.28 referring to page 244, it is clearly mentioned that for speed reduction ratio greater than 20, adopt Z1 is equal to 1. It is a single threaded worm. But when the value of I is less than 20, there is a huge ambiguity in this table 12.8. So therefore, by using trial and error method, we should find out what is the actual number of teeth on worm, which I will take up in our problem number 3, wherein which I clearly explained how to determine Z1 when there is an ambiguity for us. For this problem, there is no ambiguity because he has clearly specified the value of I, which is greater than 25. So therefore, in table 12.28, page number 244, there is no discrepancy or ambiguity for us. So we can adopt Z1 is equal to 1. Now, I want to determine the pitch circle diameters for which the center distance is specified he has given the center distance as 250 mm. So therefore, we have the equation for D1 and D2, which are approximated as the approximate values of D1 and D2 can be computed by making use of equation 12.5a, that is D1 is equal to a to the power of 0.875 divided by 1.466. This is from equation 12.5a, referring to page 223 of our design data handbook written by K. Mahadevan and K. Balavir Reddy. We are referring 4th edition. So now in this equation A should be in millimeters. So therefore, if I substitute and solve, we have the center distance as 250 millimeters, correct? 0.875 divided by 1.466, which is turning out to be 250 to the power of 0.875 divided by 1.466 is nearly equal to 85, which is approximately 85.52 millimeters. This is the approximate value of diameter of the worm. So therefore, the approximate value of diameter D2 can also be determined by using center distance as A is equal to D1 plus D2 by 2. This is from equation 12.47a, referring to page 222. So therefore, D2 is 2 times 250 minus 85.52. So therefore, the approximate value of D2 will be 500 minus 85.52, which is nothing but 414.48 millimeters. So we have calculated the approximate value of D1 and D2. By using these two as reference, we can adopt the actual values. So let us keep this as it is now. So now, if I find the module, then I can determine what is the diameter. So therefore, to find the module, as I said in our previous class, people should always remember that the diameter of the worm is 3 times the circular pitch. So recalling which, D1 is equal to 3 times circular pitch. So D1 is known to us, which is 85.52, which is 3 times circular pitch is pi m. So therefore, if I calculate, m will be 85.52 divided by 3 times pi, which is 9.074 mm. So now I want to adopt module. So therefore, from table 12.2 of our design data handbook, referring to page 246, the standard module with preference 1 is 8. After 8 we have 10. So therefore, adopt module as 10. So therefore, the module for this problem is turning out to be 10 millimeters. So now I know the module. So therefore, I can determine the diameters easily by referring to the table. So now, from table 12.29, page number 246, for module is equal to 10 and Z1 is equal to 1, we can adopt diameter D1 as 100 millimeters. So referring to table 12.29 of page number 246, we have found out that the diameter of the worm is turning out to be 100 millimeters. So now moving ahead. So diameter what we have adopted 100 is nearer to this approximate value 85. So therefore the answer can be termed to be correct. And now coming for D2, by using the center distance equation, I can find that D2 is equal to 2 times the center distance minus D1. So therefore D2 will be 500 minus 100, which is nothing but 400 mm for this problem. So now I can find the value of Z2. We know that Z2 is equal to I times Z1. Since Z1 is 1, the speed reduction ratio is 25. So therefore Z2 will also be 25 for this problem. And coming for speed N2, we know that I is equal to N1 by N2. So therefore N2 is N1 divided by I. He has clearly specified the value of N1 as 1200. 1200 divided by 25 is 48 RPM. So this completes our step 1. Whereas if I have the speed reduction ratio less than 20, there is an ambiguity in this table 12.28, page number 244. Then using this approximate value from trial and error method, I should find the value of Z. Since the value of I is greater than 20, there is no ambiguity for us. We can directly adopt Z1 as 1. How to solve that such problems where in which I is less than 20, I will explain in our next problem. So this completes our step 1. Moving ahead for step 2. In step 2, we used to calculate the module, but for problems where in which he has specified the center distance in step 1 itself, we will be calculating the module. So therefore, in step 2, find the value of tangential load and factor of safety. Tangential load and factor of safety. So this step remains same as the step what we have employed to calculate the tangential load and factor of safety in case of spur gear, which you are already thorough with. So recalling that we have tangential load for the load which can be transmitted. Tangential load is given by 2 times equivalent torque divided by D2. This is referring to equation 12.53 D of page 223. So now we have Ft is where Mt is given by actual torque into load factor. He has given the load factor for us as 1.25. So we know the formula for torque Mt, which is given by 9.55 into 10 to the power of 6 into P by N2, which is nothing but 9.55 into 10 to the power of 6 into P. Power to be transmitted is 5 kilowatts. N2 is calculated as 48 RPM. So therefore, torque is turning out to be 99479 Newton millimeters. So therefore, the equivalent torque is 1.25 times this answer, which is 1243489.6 Newton millimeters. So therefore, the tangential load for this problem is turning out to be 2 times this answer divided by D2. So D2 is 400 mm. Hence, the tangential load is 6217 newtons. 6217 newtons. So now to find factor of safety, we know that it is tangential load from Lewis equation to the tangential load based on torque. So tangential load from Lewis equation, that is Ft max That is maximum permissible value is given by sigma d CV B capital Y M. This is equation number 12.53a. 12.53a, referring to the same page 223. So now we know the value of sigma d2. I want to calculate the value of CV. So for d2 is equal to 400 mm, we will find velocity v is equal to by d2 m2 by 60,000, which is turning out to be pi times diameter d2 is 400, n2 is 48 divided by 60,000, which is 1 meters per second. So for which CV is given by 6.1 by 6.1 plus V. This you people already know by constructing dynamic load, which is available in the same page. So if I solve, I will get the answer as 6.1 by 6.1 plus V, which is 0.86. So we have found out the value of CV as 0.86. Now coming for B. So once you know the module, you cannot assume the value of face width as 10 mm. Kindly make a note. B is given by table 12.27. The formula for B is 7.48 m plus 6.35. This is from table 12.27, referring to page 244. So therefore, the value of B will be 7.48 into m is 10 plus 6.35, which is nothing but 81.15. So therefore, we can approximate it as 85 millimeters, the face width. Very, very important. You cannot assume it as 10 times the module, because module is already known for problems in which pitch circle diameter is specified for worm gear. So now coming for capital Y is pi times small y, where small y is given from Lewis form factor for 14.5 degree, which is 0.124 minus 0.684 by Z2. This is from equation 12.5c of page 204. So if I substitute and solve, I will get the Lewis form factor y as 0.684 by Z2. Z2 is 25. So Lewis form factor for this problem is y is equal to 0.097. So therefore, maximum permissible load FT max will be sigma d2. Sigma d2 is 82.4 into CV is 0.86 into B is 85. Y is pi into small y. Small y is 0.097 into module. Module is turning out to be 10. So therefore, I will get the answer as 18355.5 newtons. So therefore, factor of safety for this problem, FOS, is FT max from Lewis beam strength equation, which is 18,355.5 divided by actual tangential load transmitted, that is 6217. So therefore, FOS for this problem is turning out to be 2.95. 2.95 is the factor of safety for this problem. Next, moving for step number 3, we have to find lead and lead angle. So first, to find lead, we should know the circular pitch, which is equal to pi m, which is nothing but 10 pi. This is from equation 12.46a, referring to page 220, and lead is given by pi m z1, which is also equal to 10 pi, referring to equation 12.46b of page 220. So therefore, coming for lead angle, we know that tan gamma is equal to lead by pi d1. So therefore, gamma for this problem, lead angle will be tan inverse of lead is 10 pi, pi will get cancelled, divided by d1, d1 is 100. So lead angle for this problem is 5.7106 degrees, 5.7106 degrees, which is within the permissible value. You can verify from table 12.29, referring to page 246. We have for module is equal to 10 and z1 is equal to 1, gamma will be in the range of 4 to 43. So which is in the range. So therefore the calculation is correct. Now moving for step number 4. Step number 4 is to find worm gear efficiency. To find worm gearing efficiency. So worm gearing efficiency eta is given by tan gamma of 1 minus mu tan gamma divided by mu plus tan lead angle. This is from equation 12.57d of our design data handbook. So now to find the value of mu, first I should know the rubbing velocity Vr, which is given by pi d1 small n1 by 1000 times cos gamma, which is available in page number 226. So rubbing velocity will be pi times d1 is 100, n1 is 1200 by 60. Because this is small n, I should substitute in rps into 1000 into cos gamma, cos of 5.7106. So rubbing velocity is 6.3145 meters per second. So therefore I can choose the value of equation for mu as 0.025 plus 3.281 by 1000 into rubbing velocity Vr from equation 12.60b. From equation 12.60b of page 226. Yes, specified the range for selecting the equation for mu as V. Kindly correct it, it is Vr. For Vr greater than 2.5, we should go for this equation. Kindly correct it in data and book. So therefore, mu is turning out to be 0.025 plus 3.281 divided by 1000 into rubbing velocity Vr is 6.3145. So coefficient of friction is 0.046 for this problem. So therefore efficiency of worm gearing is turning out to be tan of gamma is 5.7106 into 1 minus mu is 0.046 into tan of gamma is 5.7106 divided by mu is 0.046 plus tan of again gamma is 5.7106. So efficiency is 0.6818 which is equal to 68.18%. So we have calculated the worm gear efficiency, which is turning out to be 68.18%, which is greater than 50%. Hence, the worm gearing system is not self-locking type. Let me pause this video for a while so that people can copy it down. Later we will finish it off with step 5 and step 6. Next, moving ahead for step number 5. Step number 5 is checking for strength. So in order to check for strength, first I should find dynamic load. Dynamic load Ft is given by sigma d B capital Y M. This is from equation 12.54. You refer page number 223. So we should always take Fd as Ft by Cv. If you compare this with the equation of Levy's beam strength for tangential load, you can observe this. Always should calculate based on this. This is because of the reason Ft is always calculated based on torque, whereas Ft based on Levy's equation is the maximum permissible tangential load. This is the actual load transmitted. So therefore, I should always use this with Ft value from the torque equation is 6217 by Cv is 0.86, which we have calculated in our step 2. So using which I will get the answer as dynamic load is turning out to be 7229 newtons. Always you should calculate in this form only. Kindly make a note. Next, coming for wear load. Wear load Fw is equal to d2 bk. This is from equation 12.62a of page number 227. So where k is from table 12.30. From table 12.30 for steel and phosphorus bronze. For worm made of steel and worm wheel made of phosphorus bronze with gamma ranging from 0 to 10 degree, the value of K is 0.412. Because gamma for this problem is 5.7, which is in this range. For steel and phosphorus bronze, K value is 0.412. So substituting all the values, I will get the wear load for this problem as D2 is 400, B is 85 times 0.412, which is turning out to be 14,008 newtons. Since Fw is greater than Fd, design is safe from strength point of view. So we have verified that the design is safe from strength point of view also. Now moving for the final step, that is heat balance. Moving for step 6, that is heat balance. Heat generated is given by mu F normal rubbing velocity by cos gamma. This is from equation 12.63a of page 227, where Fn should be known to you people, that is Ft by cos gamma cos alpha very important relation. So if I substitute and solve, I'll get normal force as Ft is 6217 divided by cos of gamma is 5.7106 into cos of alpha is 14.5 degree, which is turning out to be 6454 newtons I can take. So therefore heat generated is, mu is known to us, coefficient of friction mu is 0.046, which we are calculating step number 4, into Fn is 6454 into rubbing velocity Vr is 6 divided by cos gamma. The rubbing velocity is also calculating step 4. So cos gamma for this problem is 5.7106. So therefore heat generated is turning out to be 1883.89 watts, that is joules per second. And coming for heat dissipation is given by 1000 power to be transferred in kilowatts into 1 minus eta. This is from equation 12.63b, referring to page 227. So therefore heat dissipated is 1000 into power in kilowatts is 5 kilowatts into 1 minus efficiency is 68%, that is 0.68, which is nothing but 1600 watts. So since dissipation is less compared to generation, it requires artificial cooling. So this is the complete solution for problem number 2, in which we have discussed the complete design of worm gear when center distance is known to us. That's all from this lecture. Thank you all.